Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, this is Abhinav, and I welcome you all on the Alive Almond Show. As always, we have been joined by some amazing guests today. And before I introduce them, I just want to tell you the market craziness that you see out there is amazing. People are coming, joining, again moving, Sunday joining, Monday moving, and all of those things are happening. But we do have two founders, or I would rather call them true leaders from the IT industry who are actually, setting some amazing examples in front of us. Without further ado, I just want to tell you that today's session is very important. It's not just why the kind of people we have, but also because the kind of things that they have been doing to make sure the kind of leadership that is being followed out here is amazing. Without any taking more time, I would like to invite Ms. Gayathri Vivekanand on the stage. Hi, Gayathri.
Hi, Abhinav.
Great, good to catch you. And I would also like to invite Ms. Saravanan Vivekanandan on the screen. Hi,
Hi,
Saravanan. How are
Abhinav.
you? Right, great. So I already started seeing comments coming to us, but let me just quickly give an introduction of who Gayatri and Saravanan is. Though I know that our marketing promotions were out and a lot of people have already started reaching out to us. Gayatri is the CEO for Ideas to IT Private Limited. It's an IT company based out of India and US and many other locations. And Saravanan is CEO and founder for IdeaRX, which is also a group company of Ideas to IT Group. And Ideas to IT came into a lot of news recently, as many of you might know, for their generous efforts. They recently gifted 100 plus Maruti cars to their employees. Well, Gayatri Savanan, I must congratulate both of you on this great achievement. It's an example, it's a milestone that you have set out there. Many congratulations to both of you.
Thank you,
Thank
Abhinav.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining. So I just want to highlight this news came early this week, and one of our, the thought was very simple that who are these people who are doing this such a fantastic examples of leadership out there that everyone, the entire leadership fraternity has to learn. And my brain was like ringing, bang, 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 bang. I have to talk to these people, learn something from them, and not just me. Entire IT fraternity, leadership fraternity, corporate business leaders should learn something from you. And we will talk about that. So let me start with some basic questions. And as you know that, we have, when we talked about IT companies, we have seen TCS of the world, Infosys, Wipros, and probably SCLs and all. Tell me more about who you guys are, what Ideas to IT is, since how long you have been into business and what you are doing for the world. Over to you. Who want to take this? Gayatri, Savanan, anyone?
Yeah, I'll take it. Probably someone can add, Abhinav.
Sure.
So, Ideas to IT, as you rightly said, it's headquartered in US, has a major employee base out of US, India, and Mexico. We are a high-end product engineering firm. We develop business solutions leveraging the emerging technologies to the likes of Siemens, Facebook, Bloomberg, and Roche of
Wow.
the world. So if you
Wow.
look at our USP, we apply the tech skills onto the business problems and provide solutions to clients. So if you take Siemens, so we are developing a chatbot which goes through massive documentation that Siemens has,
Yeah.
applies artificial intelligence to leverage data, to pick data and provide to their marketing personnel. It saves so much of
Yeah.
their time. So such kind of interesting and impactful work is what we take interest in grabbing. So when we say product
Great.
engineering, it also involves this developing solutions into this interesting spaces, leveraging the AI, NFT, and whatnot. That is
Hmm.
the engineering space that we are in.
Right.
And we started in 2009 with a handful of fresh out of college graduates, and
Wow.
we have grown to what we are now. Almost everyone in this audience group might know, right? 500, 600 hardcore, hard to get engineers is what we have today. And
Wow.
that's mainly because Abhinav, we really practice the people friendly approach, the employee friendly approach, be it empowerment, trust, and so on. It's not only that we write it on the board saying that we empower you and things like that. We actually literally, we
Yeah.
follow it. I'll give an example, right? So most of the initiatives that we practice at Ideas to IT, it's all coming from the employees themselves. When they see a
Wow.
chance to, improve anybody's life, be it clients or employees, they put forth to the management. Management just looks at it, and most of the time it gives a nod. That's it. The
Wow.
initiation and execution is with the employees. One
Hmm.
small example. So most of our employees are from tier 2, tier 3 villages and towns, right? And most
Hmm.
of them are first time graduates, from the family. So they have a lot of responsibilities, right? So they have to educate their siblings or take care of their ailing parents and so on. So a lot of them were taking loans, hand loans of 1 lakh, 2 lakh here and there, and they were really, coughed up with the interest. So one
Hmm.
employee came up and said, "Why can't Ideas to IT give soft loans to them? You know,
Wow.
no checks on their underwriting thing, right?" So we just started giving that. So we allocated funds, 2 crores, 3 crores, and the employees themselves formed a committee and formed a framework as to what all should be the eligible criteria to get a loan, what should be the repayment period, and so on. And so far, for 3 years, it's going successful. Right? That
Wow.
is what we call as empowerment, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I say our principle is trust, right? So we go all out, no approval process. You go from here to anywhere, apply conveyance, that's it. Without approval, it gets processed.
Wow.
You take your team out for dinner, no approvals required. That most probably every other company might also do. Here we have a policy of unlimited sick leave. You know,
Nice.
so Gayatri feels sick, take 2 weeks of holiday, no questions asked. So long as it's genuine, her manager believes her. That's it. She gets paid. So when we implement this empowerment or trust and employee first approach, the result, right? Employees give it back. They also feel that it's a family kind of an environment. They stick around for
Yes.
long. That's the crux of Ideas to IT.
No, no, I think that's amazing. I'm sure that I'm already getting a lot of comments. They're looking for the email ID of your HR person so that they can start sharing your resume. Because, Aman, we are a small company in compared to what Ideas to IT do. Our focus is primarily into building those platforms or mobile first solutions that help brands engage with their channel, customers, and audiences. And one example is this Almond Vertex, which has won 5 Guinness Book of World Records for hosting some of the largest conferences worldwide.
Great.
Now, we always thought that putting more pressure to those people, and this is a very old style thought, right? Making sure that they are aligned with the timelines and all those sort of things. And then now we are seeing a different picture, which used to be primarily in the very early stage startups like unlimited leaves. I was in US for around 3.5 4 years, in the New York City particularly. And one of my company, they had a policy of unlimited leaves. And I was surprised. That was first time, and it was unlimited any leave, whether it's sick leave or those leaves. So I was surprised. So I just went to HR and just confirmed with her, am I understanding it correctly? You have unlimited leaves, there's no cap and all. And she said, yes, we have no cap on anything. It's just that you have to apply 2 weeks before the leaves, and then it's all yours. You can go for up to 10 days, or probably 5 to 7 working days in one straight row and all, right? The other side of it is that a lot of people think that, how do you plan if you do not even know that for how long your resources will be in office? How would you plan? And that's very important, because when we start small, we see things very in a smaller way. When we grow, then there are also a lot more people who add more to our vision, and then applying these kind of things helps. So I think from people perspective, it is very important what you said, and we will talk more about it. But tell me, you quickly touched upon it. What's the resourcing philosophy around the company? If I have to ask, like, how do you see what are the resource culturally fit or not fit? Because when you put these kind of open hands, things to your employees, I'm sure there must be some challenges. So your philosophy will play an important role. Any thoughts on that?
Saran has a lot of passion towards that, so probably
Sure.
it's waiting to
Yeah, yeah,
go.
good, Savanan.
Yeah. So this is a very very interesting thing, Abhinav. Among the four co-founders, many of us have been working with the likes of Google, Cisco, Sun Microsystem,
Yeah,
etc. Right. So we have worked with some of the best technical minds in the industry. over the past. So the combinedly, the co-founders have almost like 100 years of experience as of today,
Yeah.
right? But we are always very, very sure that the same kind of technology talent can be found in the tier 2 and tier 3 colleges also scattered across India. All it takes is like, you identify the raw talent and also invest on shaping them to do that, rather than just looking at a short-term game of like, hey, you go try to grow inorganically, go and poach from some other company. We always believe that if you invest on people, right, it can be like a
Yes.
just fresh out of a college graduate or 1 or 2 years of experience, and invest on that, definitely
Yes.
there's going to be a big value which can be created out of
Correct.
that.
Correct.
And after like running the company for 12, 13 years, we are very, very sure that like, we have proved ourselves right. So the
Yes.
kind of people whom currently we are working, they are always getting the appreciated very highly from, Facebook techies, architects.
Yes.
Okay. And believe me, one thing which you have to consider here is our clients are tech companies. They are not like,
Correct.
Walmart or something where you just getting appreciated by the business people, but the technology people. Okay.
Hmm.
So when you can create this kind of raw talent and manage them into really really great business engineers, we even call them as a business engineers because ultimately,
Wow.
even though they may be techie guys, ultimately they generate business solutions out of the technology. That's very
Hmm.
much appreciated by the end customer, right? And what we
Hmm.
also do is we kind of here the idea is your educational background or even your past experience, right? It's not the major thing which will decide what you want to do, okay, or what
Correct.
you're going to do in this company. So a
Correct.
lot will be influenced by what is the interest level you have and what is the capability you have.
Hmm.
Okay, so I can easily have somebody has been working in QA for 8 7 8 years. Then they wanted to have an idea executed, they want to become an owner. We'll be more than happy if we say, "Hey, if that is what is exciting for you, and if that is what is interesting for you, and these are the skill set which the company can enable you to achieve that, and then like you pursue your career on that angle." So this way, what actually is very what is more valued by the company is how excited you are, how driven you are, and how talented you are rather than your previous history. Okay, so that's the second aspect which makes a big impact on resourcing philosophy. Third thing is, right,
Hmm.
we believe in yearning everything. What I mean by yearning everything is, right, you sow the seeds, you nurture it, and then reap the this thing. So that's the way, right? When we work with our employees, we always invest time, money, effort, guidance, etc., and wait till they blossom into their full potential. So in that way, they are also very, very happy about what they are doing. They are very capable in what they are delivering, and we are very sure about what we can expect out of them. And ultimately, all these things come together, ensure that it gets the best result. Okay, so this is the focus so far we have been, and as we exactly said, when we started this company, not only then, even now, we don't have an attendance system. Okay, so at the end of the month, the HR sends an email saying that, hey, no, if anybody is not present on a day, you tell me. It's not the project manager who is going to tell, right? If I want to declare myself as not working for 2 days, that's the only thing, right? So we never had an attendance system. So many people say, hey, you are a very small company, you can afford to do this. But if you become a 100 people company, it's very tough to do. We are
Hmm.
okay with that. We become a 100 people company. We are able to do that again. Hey, if you become a 250 company, it's going to be difficult to do that because you are now handpicking people by yourself. Later, it's going to grow. People are rough people are going to come under it. But now we are like 600 700 people, and still it works, right? And the good thing is, uh, we believe and we have been proved that individually everybody is good. Okay, as
Hmm.
long as they don't have a pressing reason to be the other way, they are good. So when you give them a chance, when you believe them, and when you nurture them, they are more than
Hmm.
good than what typically a conventional company can expect out of that.
Got it. Got it. So Gayatri said that we have unlimited leaves. She's saying that, we don't ask people what they're doing and how they're doing it. We just ask them what they want to do. And
Abhinav, I think we lost you.
Yeah, I think Abhinav has gone on a freeze mode. Abhinav, we
Abhinav?
Can
lost
you
you
guys
for
hear
a
me?
while. Yeah, now we can hear
Sorry,
you.
sorry. Okay, I was saying that Gayatri is saying that we don't have the policies about leaves. You're saying that we don't want people to tell us if they are in office or not. I'm more worried. I mean, how is it working actually? Because now you are around 500 or so people team, and how does it work? Because it sounds like very confusing to me. How is it happening? Like, what's the secret sauce of success, especially from the project and delivery perspective
So,
in this?
okay, so the idea is right when everybody has a clear idea about the big picture, what the
Hmm.
customer is supposed to be delivered, people take responsibility, people take ownership, right? You will be amazed at the level of client information or the end customer information we keep sharing with even a fresher. Like, hey, this is what we are supposed to deliver and this is the plan, etc. When people have a idea of the overall plan, they kind of align themselves. Very rarely, like, in extreme cases, they kind of, even if it's going to have an impact on that, they take off. Otherwise, people know, hey, if I'm not going to be here, this is interested with me, and that's going to be a bigger problem for the customer. So people kind of, handle it at their level. And what's come was even so. I'll also share something with the client side. When we set the expectations properly with the customer, okay, we upfront say whatever we are talking to you now to the customer also when you do the sign off. Okay, so they know what they are signing up with, but ultimately at the end of the day they get better results.
Hmm. Hmm.
Since every individual has an understanding of the big picture.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes total sense. So that brings me to a very interesting point. Like, so as a company managing director or founders or the chief executive officer, this is how you see. What's the career philosophy or career to life philosophy in the company as an employee perspective and then as an employer perspective? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, our philosophy, towards the career life is Abhinav. We have the mantra, lofty goals and happy journey. Okay, so lofty
Okay.
goal part means that you set your goal really aspirational, be it
Hmm.
in a career for the company and for the individual, right? So we set
Yeah.
very good, aspirational goals for everyone.
Hmm.
The best part is we ensure that the journey also is happy while we strive to achieve the lofty goals. What we mean by
Interesting.
happy, yeah, so what we mean by the happiness quotient of the employees is simply, if we ask the audience, the first thing that comes to our mind is our compensation and benefit. So you give a big
Yeah.
pay packet, everyone will be happy, right? It is not that
Yeah.
way. The very first day, the very first month that you increase the salary, probably people will be happy. But after that, that becomes a hygiene. There are so many other factors which makes the journey really happy, which makes them look forward to Mondays, right? They do not get into that gloomy mood when Monday is approaching. So there are a few things that we have found, which have really captivated our employee group, right? So one is
Okay.
the work that we do. If it's really interesting, and if they find that, as Saravanan said, if they find that how it's going to impact the end user of the clients, then you get to work for it, right? See,
Hmm.
for example, we are developing a solution for Roche, which is a multi-billion, pharma company in the world, right? They are into this COVID medication, and they are into a very big pharma business, right? So we are developing a solution from scratch, which will provide a personalized cancer treatment for patients. So typically, it looks
Wow.
like when a patient is diagnosed with cancer, it takes 7 to 8 weeks to identify a cancer treatment for a patient. This is in the advanced countries, developed countries like the US and the European
Correct.
countries. It takes 7 to 8 weeks. So look at the agony that the patient and the patient's family will undergo. That a person is diagnosed with cancer, but to identify the treatment, it takes 7 to 8 weeks. They try different things and then they. But the platform that we are developing now is going to bring that down to from 7 to 8 weeks to 1 to 1.5 weeks. It's
Wow.
such a impactful platform, right? So if you get to work, if the employees get to work on such interesting and impactful work, that really motivates them. You know, it doesn't come to us, and strike that your interesting work will really keep the journey happy. It does, definitely, right? Rather than a mundane job, Monday to Friday, you come and do some Excel job that might not interest you. Whereas this interesting and impactful work really motivates them, right? The second thing is the learning opportunities. You come work on the same React or Angular throughout 5 years, 6 years, you do not really upskill. There's no opportunity for you to upskill. You don't feel really motivated, right? But if you take our front end engineers, they work on React, they work on Angular, they work on Vue, whatever it is, right, which is upcoming, they get to work on it. So obviously it interests them. So how do we make them get such opportunities is, let's see, the entire world is working on Angular and Vue is picking up. We invest time, focus, and budget for people to get to do some POCs, reference implementations, get their hands dirty and be production ready. So when clients come and ask for, I want Vue people, we already have few people, right? So that's how we keep giving them tech upskill and domain upskill as well. So that's how we keep our employees engaged. The third thing is, even if you and I are in the same career path or not career level, right? So you might have your aspirations, I will have my aspirations, right? So in our organization, we have a policy that the career growth should also, or the career path should be fine-tuned to every individual. I'll give a few examples. We have a designer, okay? Designer decides how the screen, the front end screen comes up, right? Where the user ID should be there, where the password should be available, which color font. That is what usually, in trivial terms, a designer does. This person has, his name is Raj Abhishek, okay? So he had a flair for product development. So we nurtured the product development skills in him, mentored him, and he's now become a co-founder of one of our products.
Wow.
That's how we create personalized career plans for our employees and keep them happy. So that's how we
Wow.
make the journey really happy for our employees,
No, your
including.
employees are more than happy. Let me tell you. Yeah, please, Saravanan, go ahead.
So to add one thing, right? It's a very common question we ask when we hire a lateral leadership or people like product managers, etc., which they don't expect us to ask, right? How comfortable are your team members with you in your previous company? Right? Are your reporting managers happy with your performance? But we kind of ask the other question also, like, hey, you have been leading like 100 people. How happy are they with you? Because we want to ensure
Correct.
that the people who join us also should give the same level of importance to the happiness of his team members. Once that thing is said, obviously it's going to cascade into upcoming generations.
Yeah, to
No, that
add to
makes
what Saranam said, even in our interviews, Abhinav, we spend a lot of time not only to evaluate the prospect candidate, but we give a lot of information about the work we do to the environment, to the candidate, so that it's not that we only evaluate the fitment of the employee. The employee should also feel that Ideas to IT is a good fit for him or her, so that the engagement happens right from that discussion.
no, and that makes total sense because as the world grows on, right, people are also thinking. I just gave an example. One of our partner in the company, he posted something that now we are getting a lot of people who are coming to us and probably are looking for a great raise, right? They least care about what kind of role it is. They least care about what kind of company it is. But as long as you as a company can give them probably what do you think about 100%, 200%, 500% raise, well, they'll come and they'll be part of your team. Now that's the challenge, because you don't want those people. You want people who trust in your in what you are building. They have passion for it and they want to be part of this journey, not just the success, because journey means that you will have failures. You will have, I'm sure that your team has delivered hundreds of projects in last 10 plus years, I'm sure that some of them might not be as successful as you thought they would be. But some of them might have been amazingly successful, more than what you ever imagined, right? And this is part of it. And that brings me to a very important point. You actually touched upon it. Tell me more about wealth sharing. I think the entire audience, the universe wants to know. 100 cars, that was a highlight of the PR for last couple of days. Many publications, I'm sure they might have interviewed you, reached out to you, talked to you about it. Tell me how it started, why you thought that something like this should be done, and how you end up actually taking this decision. Was it easy? Was it hard? Was everyone had the buy-in? Tell me as much as you can about it.
Okay, I'll go first, and then Saravan
Please,
might have
please.
interesting points to
Yeah.
add.
And I will put both of you on the center stage now, because the world should see this when you're talking. So go ahead.
Okay, so this idea of sharing the wealth with our employees has been there from day one. Okay, and the entire world is seeing how we are sharing the financial wealth with our employees. That is our family. For the last few days you would have seen, right? So first, let's cover the financial wealth sharing, and then we'll go move to the other wealth sharing initiatives that we have, right? The idea of sharing the wealth, the money part of it with our employees has been there from day one. That's because when we recruited the first 6 people, right from colleges, and started doing projects for Microsoft and other clients, we consider them as employee family, right? Our extended family. That's how we treated them. The leadership treated them. uh, mm, at the same time, employees also reciprocated the same feeling towards the company. They felt that it's their own company, they as if they are partners of the company, right? Though it's not owned by them, it's owned by one or two people. But the employees never felt that way. They felt as if it's their own company, be it the way they treated their clients. Small examples, right? Even if they see food being wasted, snacks being supplied to everyone, food gets wasted, they will not think that it's company's money. They'll not keep quiet. They'll come and say, come on, so much of snacks is getting wasted, so what do we do?
Wow.
Things like that, which
Wow.
kind of things will happen only at our families, right? We'll keep our house clean, we don't waste food and things like that. But not many of us really think the same way when it comes to public spaces or their firms, right? But here, if you look at, all of them have done that. And as Saravanan said, it's not only with those 6. When it became 50 also, we felt the same, because the culture, it spreads, right? So at every stage, if you look at, that's what people did. If there is a client mandate, we need not pick up our phone and say, hey, can you please work on on this, can you complete it at any cost? No, we give a freedom of time and place for people, but they take it to their prerogative that yes, I have to do it because the client has asked, because otherwise ideas to IT will have to go and
Hmm.
give an excuse. So they took it that way. So the wealth that has been approved by ideas to IT as a firm, it's not because of one or two which is in the leadership team. It's from everyone, right? So the
Hmm.
way we share our wealth with our children or our families, that's how we have done. You would have seen, the main ideology behind this is, it's not that ideas to IT is sharing the wealth. Everyone has helped gain it. Everyone is taking their share. That's how we put it, right? And one interesting part is, the leadership team identified what is the fund that needs to be allocated or given
Yes.
back or taken by, right? But whether it has to go to plot, cash, gold, car, everything was decided by the employee team, right? So they decided that we want, majority of the employees will be happy if they get this, and so many parameters they framed. They picked car.
Wow.
When they pick car, which brand we need to go to? Whether, there's so many brands, right? So everything was decided and executed by the employees. And it's
Wow.
not easy. Giving 100 cars from fund wise is one, giving 100 cars, the model, the variant, the color, the gradient, automatic or manual, accessories, to make everyone happy. It's a humongous task, and it was
I agree.
successful. It was successful because it was the team of employees which executed it. If it's only one
Wow.
person who does it, definitely not 100 people will be happy, right? It's very,
Yeah.
and it's not only 100 employees, their families will have to be happy, isn't it? So this
Absolutely.
was,
Absolutely.
yeah. So actually, you know what? When we did this initiative, we never thought that it will be so much covered in the social media. Our only point was that it's not only the 100 employees, but the 100 families should be happy. That
Wow.
was our intention, because most of our families who got these cars, it's the first car not only for the employee but for the families.
Wow.
So
Wow.
look at the expectation and hope that they will have, right? So
Yeah.
satisfying all of them, making them happy is a big task, and the employee team really made it happen, right?
No, no, I think it's commendable. I mean, it was a tough time for me when we were like 10 people team and choosing the brand of t-shirt. Forget
Right,
about the cars and everything,
right,
right?
right.
And I'm sure that, okay, Savanan, what do you have to add? You're smiling, and I'm sure there must be some stories that you want to share during this all hustle which would have happened.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing is right. So we as Gayatri was saying, we didn't expect this kind of media attention, and we didn't aim for that also.
Of course.
Among all the congratulations and wishes, what is very very interesting for me is at least 10 companies have reached out to us to say like, hey, what is your experience? Can you share your ideas so that we can do something like that? Okay, that is what is very very interesting for me, because ultimately when I do something, it has a limit, right? But when I
Yeah.
inspire other people, more people to do that, then there's no upper bound to that. Okay, so
True.
today now we are there, and then 10 companies start doing that, and they might be doing it in a better way than us, because we'll be more than happy to share, like, what worked for us, what didn't work for us. And then this 10 companies inspire another 10 companies, then there's no limit to that. Okay, so
Correct.
that actually has been very very exciting for me in the last couple of days. And one thing what Gati was also saying is, definitely financial aspects makes a big impact on a day-to-day life,
True.
etc. But
True.
still, that's not the only thing. Okay,
Hmm.
we definitely believe that wealth comes in different formats. Okay,
True.
so personal wealth, your career growth, your contribution towards your family, the contribution of you towards your society. Okay,
Hmm.
how healthy you are, how happy you are. All these things also plays are a key integral part of your wealth. Okay, so we definitely want our focus to be on all aspects of this,
Yeah.
and we encourage and push every individual who is working with us to focus on all those things. Okay, so
Interesting.
whenever we say like, hey, what is your New Year plan, and if one of my guys comes and says, like, I want to do this, I say, "Hey, who is going to then take care of your family? Who is going to take care of do something on this? You come and tell me what you want to do, but you should have all these things. Okay, so between 2022 and 23, you should become a wealthy person, not just another car or another plot. On top of it, what have you done? What kind of positive impact you have created on your family, on others, right? So all those things we definitely focus on that. We want everybody to focus on that. But again, the last 4 days has been all about like cars and happy people, happy faces. I would love to see in my mind, like the happiness the kids had. So typically, like a 5 years, if somebody has worked with us for 5 years, ultimately almost all, I mean 70% of our workforce is who joined us as freshers. Okay, so they typically had like 2 3 years of old kids, and then their parents, and oh man, it was too we are too happy. you know
No, no,
Very nice.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think it must have been a very exciting experience for all of them. Was it properly planned, or was it a surprise? How was it? Like, tell me more about it. You said that you
So
guys were collecting information about, what they like, or what should be from gold to cash to car, and all of those sort of things.
So what we did is like almost it's 18 months, I suppose, right? 18
Wow.
months before, right? We started thinking like, hey, we have brought the company to one level. It's something, let's cherish at that point. That was the starting of that. Okay, then we discuss, can we sponsor some higher education program, or can we do this, blah blah and all. And then we kind of thought, what personally I'll be more interested, because then certain things came into our mind. Typically, all of us come from a very pretty middle class
Yeah.
background, right? So our value system, etc., has been on that this thing. The only thing where we are able to make this much big is like, hard work and proper attitude is what has brought us here. So we thought what will be interesting for us, and then as usual we kind of sounded out to the first like 20-30 people in our employees, and then they came up with like, a bunch of ideas. And before we knew it, there was a lot of discussion going among the employees. So the first shortlisted was a plot, that everybody should have a plot. But one thing we have been very very clear. Okay, so the criteria of getting this gift should not be like a technical smartness or communication smartness or something like that. Okay, everybody should get it, as simple as that. Because somebody is in the company because the company believes, so we brought into the company. Somebody has been in the company for 5 years because they proved that they are good in this thing, right? So no appraisals, nothing, and all the things applies, right? If somebody has been with us for 5 years, as simple as that. That's the only thing which matters to us. That's the only line we told the champions of this project. Okay, and then they definitely they agreed. Okay, and what we also have told is, hey, it's not a one-time activity. Okay, so next quarter, if 10-20 people are going to reach the 5 years, they should have the same happiness and benefit. Okay,
Oh, wow.
It's not like one-time leap year, which happens in February 29, happens once in 4 years. We don't want to do that. Okay, so we said it's going to keep continuing and do that. And then things started happening. Even somebody said, like, why can't we give crypto coins? Okay, somebody said, can we buy Tesla shares and give it? Okay, I said, we are fine with that. You just do whatever you want to do. And then it kind of ultimately boiled down to this.
No, and it's quite interesting because, as I said, coming to a conclusion is very important. And when you come to a conclusion, you also have to see what are the other sides of it, like what's the flip side of it, because there will be, as you rightly mentioned, some people who might be completing probably 5 years or 8 years after a month or a quarter or 6 months. How do we tackle that? And it's very important. So someone just retweeted one of the things that I've just posted, and he said that for the next one we need to give BMWs now because the expectations are high, right? And I'm sure. So I'm just reading some of these comments, and it's quite interesting how it's happening. I wanted to also talk about some slightly more serious topic here about inclusivity. As we all know, the trends are saying, and we want to make sure that workplace is open and including everyone. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, Gayathri, if you want to talk about it, or Savanan.
Yeah. So inclusivity, no, I would say it runs in our blood. Okay. So be it gender, we do not have any principles which goes against inclusivity, right? So we take women for any role. If you look at and we groom them also. Okay, we give a lot of importance to both the genders. We groom them into leadership roles. If you take me, I joined IdeaRX as a delivery manager. I was handpicked and groomed to become a CEO. If you look at the co-founder Bhavani, she's gone ahead and started her own startup. She's become a co-founder. She was mentored for it. And our mobile group head, HR head. So all are women. So gender-wise, it's very inclusive. If you come and look at our work environment, you will see how inclusive and open it is. We all. So when we say inclusive, there's no hierarchy, practiced to a great extent. For example, if you look at the delivery managers, delivery heads, we all sit with the team. There's so much of openness, and it's not only for the delivery team or the engineering team. You take any support team, any supporting functions like HR, accounts, sysadmin, all of them are treated together, the same way. If a sysadmin engineer or executive joins our firm, he will be treated the same way that the engineer is treated, right? There will be an individual career plan for that person, depending on the interest, strength, and aspirations, which aligns with organizational goals. But the Second thing is there are so many people who are from non-IT background, right? Or people who have taken breaks. No, one of our employees now, he's in a data engineering stream. He took a 2-year break to prepare for his IAS exam, right?
Wow.
So for and for some reason he wanted to come back to career. So we have taken him, and we have included, and his aspiration was to become a data engineer. So we evaluated for him and took him for that. So inclusivity is in the blood, as I said, and be it gender, race, or be anything, it's inclusive here.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And I think the world is looking forward to it because what we have
And
also
more
seen, especially,
importantly, to add,
yeah,
Please go ahead, Saravanan.
so to elaborate a little bit on what Gayatri was telling, there's always an encouragement for second chances. Okay. Somebody who has had some problem with their education, they would not have completed their education. Somebody would have taken a break. I'm not talking about like 6 months, 3 years, 4 years. They have not been there from, different this thing. And when we say we are open, it is not just allowing them to participate for selection. So these people will have special requirements through the career. Couple of years when they join us, they will have some difficulties in performing on par with others. Okay, so we have plans and focus to enable them, babies, handhold them in the initial settlement period. Because then only they will be able to kind of succeed in that this thing. So that's one key area which not just the HR department. Okay, as a matter of fact, we don't have a exclusive HR department because we says every leader should handle the personal needs of everybody else, right? So throughout the company, we first of all give a chance for people who have some kind of difficulties in the past to come with us, join us, and hand-holding process in every which way. Okay, it can be very, very flexible working hours, or it can be partial working hours, it can be extra mentoring, etc. So that ultimately it comes to a fruitful experience for them.
very interesting. I think eventually what brands and companies and people as well are looking for a more inclusive behavior, not just for what they need, but also what others need, right? And now what we have also seen, I was working for a company called JetBlue Airways in the US, and one core thing that they always talk about was, how do you make sure the people around you are very happy with you being there, right? Because what you would note, and especially the business that they are in, they are world's one of the finest leisure airlines, right? And their job is to make sure that not just you on the seat, but the people or the other passenger co-passengers around you are also happy with that. And they actually ingrain this DNA into the every employee's training that they do, to make sure that even if when you are taking the training, it is not just you, who is learning, but also the trainer is also learning something from you, and also your other colleagues, etc., are also learning something from your behavior. That's another way of making sure that everyone is included, while you are the focus. And also I think what you said is extremely, extremely interesting. But that brings to a very interesting point. I'm confident the kind of culture that you are bringing in the company, of course, the big hampers and cars and everything, there must be people who are passionate about not just what Ideas to IT does, but also coming up with their own brain shocking ideas, new concepts, new projects. And probably I'm sure that Ideas to IT is also going to become an entrepreneur generation or generator machine, whatever you would call it. Is there any sort of in-house entrepreneurship activities or programs or something like that you guys are doing? I'm sure there must be something happening, because then I will talk about what IdeaRX is, because you're saying IdeaRX is a group company of Ideas to IT group. So we will also talk more about it before the partner comments. So yes, anything about in-house entrepreneurship program or what you guys are thinking, if there is something.
So we have an
Right.
ecosystem to generate, product ideas, Abhinav. Okay, there is anyone in the organization can come up with, product ideas if they see a problem anywhere. They read about it, they experience it, they identify a problem, they feel that's a tech play to solve the problem, they raise it, right? And
Wow.
they might not have the maturity to do a market feasibility study or a tech feasibility
Yeah.
study, but at a vague level or a high level, if they come up with something, Then we have our leadership team to go sit with them, give them that these are all the things that you should look at before considering whether it's a good product idea or not, because whether
Nice.
they will not know, or they might not have really looked at the market segment and things like that. So we educate them as to what all they should look at, and do their own study before we spoon feed them. They come back and there it starts. That is one way of looking at it.
Interesting.
The other way is we look at the clients that we are working at, right? And then we see what challenges they are undergoing, and we have the tech experience with us. We marry both and come up with our own product ideas, right?
Nice.
So Sarana will be eager to talk about it, but let me first take the first step. Okay. So we had HMS, hospital management system. Okay, so which is our product for since long, and in lieu of implementing that, we saw that all the hospitals more or less have a supply chain problem hitting them
Correct.
day in day out. So that problem we could see, and we could clearly see the tech play there. If we develop an end-to-end supply management system for the hospitals, it's going to give them all the data at finger point, which items will have a bigger lead time, not this, everything, and they will improve their efficiency a lot. Okay, that's how applying analytics and the tech acumen to the supply chain management of the hospitals was brought into a new startup, IdeaRX, which is headed by Saravanan now, right? I have a lot of examples. Pipe Candy, our e-commerce analytics solution, that is a product that was spun off from Ideas to IT Ideation Club. Element 5, which is an intelligent automation system exclusively for healthcare,
Wow.
applying artificial intelligence and RPA to solve healthcare. That is our E5, Element 5. That was spun from Ideas to IT as a startup. It is a product. It's going real good. Raised funds. IdeaRX has raised funds. So that's how the product ideation happens here. And once a momentum is seen, we spin it out as a separate firm. Before handing it over to Saravanan to talk about IdeaRX, the product, and so on, so we have a yearly event called Shark Tank, wherein all of
Wow.
us log off from our delivery work and spend 5 days to apply our solutioning mind, where the ideation hat, and come up with ideas. And there will be a very good evaluation team. We go and present it like what they do in Shark Tank event, right? So we all go and they shoot out the ideas. They ask a lot of questions. They evaluate. It's a critical evaluation, and we pick top 2 or 3 ideas from that, and we implemented the subsequent year. So it's not only we evaluate and said, Abhinav, you have done a good job in ideating, so you're good, you give a cup, you get an award and go. It's not like that. We really believe in your idea, so we'll develop the product.
Wow.
So we have a chatbot based system internally to engage with our employees. So that was one of the ideas that our employee had presented to the Shark Tank. That's how we take it forward. Yeah,
Very
that's
interesting.
instill that product ideation mindset into our employees and take it forward. But Saravanan will talk about the IdeaRX journey.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
basically, as you asked, the whole environment is contagious, and sometimes people say, like, you can oh, good influence or a bad influence. People start working with us. We always focus on solving the customer problem. We kind of
Correct.
usually take it to one level higher than the customer problems, right? What is, say, Raj trying to do for its customer? Okay, what is Siemens trying to do for its customer? So we kind
Hmm.
of take our focus and analysis to that level, so that as long as, see, for Siemens, who is the best, where is his focus? Ultimately, his customer. Now, if I understand the priority of Siemens customer, and my solution can create value for Siemens customer, obviously I'm going to become the biggest asset for Siemens, right? So this is how we kind of
Correct.
approach all the products. And obviously, when somebody is working in this environment for a couple of years, they definitely will get bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, and then they can say, like, why can't I do that? And then you have all
Yeah.
these success stories.
Yeah.
right? And fortunately, unfortunately, nobody understands that only 1% of the companies complete the entrepreneur this thing. But that's good. People
Correct.
see these interesting stories. They see how are we solving the customers end customer problem, etc. And they say why
Correct.
can't we do that? And as Gayatri was saying, both structurally as well as unstructurally, we have like enabling environment in that. Okay. So one such a thing is IdeaRX. So basically, what we do is, I mean, so IdeaRX, when we started, the vision the inspiration came from two places, right? We always believe that whatever you do should have an impact. Okay, so be it your day-to-day life, be it your career, or be it any other social life, there should be impact which you should be able to create. So even as a company, be it IdeaRX or Idea Studio or any group company of Idea Studio, we always believe that money is always a byproduct. Okay, if you focus on creating great value addition, value creation to your customer, target customer, and you execute it very well, money will automatically start happening. The bank account will get nurtured.
Correct.
So our focus should be on the impact. Okay, so you can very easily see that the last 10 years, more and more people are becoming sick, and more number of people are being declared sick. Okay,
Correct.
there are two different things. You might know the
I agree.
nuance.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously the cost of healthcare is keeping increasing at one end.
Hmm.
So where is this cost going? Are the hospitals charging exorbitantly and is making a hell lot of money? Actually, no. The hospitals also started bleeding money due to various reasons. Now this is very very precarious, right? Hospitals at one end are not making money, so they are not be able to invest on their infrastructure, their R&D, their facility, etc. While customers are unable to pay for their healthcare. So this is a very precarious scenario, right? So at that time, what we definitely started focusing here, what can we do? And we have been here for almost 10 years at that time when we started
Yeah.
IdeaRX. Healthcare we have been for almost 10 years. Team which understood the whole ecosystem and said, why is everybody losing money? Why patient is paying more money? Why still hospitals start making more money, more profit? Okay,
Yeah.
then we understood and identified, hey, this is where the problem is. There's a lot of inefficiencies. Okay, whenever there is an inefficiency, ultimately the price is going to be paid by the end customer.
Correct.
Okay, so we said let's do something on this, and that's when IdeaX was born. Ultimately, what the one-liner for is, IdeaRX focuses on increasing the profitability of the hospitals. So when I say about hospital profitability, obviously you might know the pharmacy is the biggest revenue center for any hospital. More than any other department, be it surgeries, surgicals, etc. That's the thing. And we said if we are able to make a positive impact of 10 to 15%. And the next question is, how does our enablement of hospitals to make more profit will have a positive impact on the patient? See,
Hmm.
ultimately, when the hospitals are able to make more money, number one, they are able to invest in the infrastructure, their R&D. Number two, due to competition, many of these hospitals are willing to pass on this cost benefit to the end customers. Okay,
Hmm.
so this we have very obviously seen in at least 60-70% of the hospitals with whom we work. In 1 year's time, once they start realizing more profit consistently, they are more than happy to share it with the patients, right? They have started giving discounts, they have started giving promotions, they have started having better technology, so that the effectiveness and the cost of the patient higher. So this is what we do here, and this kind of aligns very well with a couple of things, right? One is we always believe there should be an impact, and we are more than happy because it's not just enterprises which are going to feel the impact. Here, both the hospitals as well as the end patients, the individuals are getting a positive impact. Next thing is, it is creation of wealth rather than passing on wealth from one layer to another layer, because those have
Very
their own
important.
limitations. This is about creating of wealth here. That's what we focus on here.
No, no, absolutely. I think what you said is the Shark Tank. I think many companies should adopt it. And in fact, we have like around 100 people in my company, and every time we talk to them, there are some amazing ideas, right? And these ideas never get into the papers, because if they get into the papers, I'm sure that they will be able to go into the next level altogether. So what we have also started talking about is that if you have an idea, great, put it on a paper, just create one pager or something with what value add you would do to or what problem would it solve. Probably it's a problem within our own solutions as well. Like, as I mentioned, Almond is into the business of helping brands with solving their challenges of channel engagement, loyalty, sampling, and all those sort of things, which used to be primarily physical, right? Now fast forward last 2 years, most of these things have turned out to be in a digital mode. And of course, because digital is slightly less cost in comparison to the physical activities, CFOs love it, right? And then when CMOs goes to CFOs asking for same extra lots of money in the bank accounts, they say, hey, you can easily do it digitally. Why do you need to do physically, right? So we see a lot of those opportunities coming to us, right? Now, because we have a great experience working with a lot of these brands and agencies, India, internationally, lot of our team members itself come up with solutions which they think, hey, if we could tweak our solution or product or services in this way, probably this will save 30% of clients time in doing this stuff, right? Now for that, of course, because the product belong to us, we don't need to do the Shark Tank, but there might be hundreds of such great ideas which we actually don't hear. So everyone out there who is listening, I think that's a great thing that Ideas to IT is doing it. A lot of people have been asking the email IDs for HR managers, so I will be connecting them directly to Gayathri now, because I'm sure that this is something very exciting. And as you rightly mentioned, just passing on the wealth is not enough. The wealth, passing this wealth should create some powerful impact and also recreate more wealth. Then it makes sense. So whether we talk about ideas to IT or we talk about IdeaRX, how it has come there, I think both of you have been on the front show, running it as a leader. And I want to again congratulate both of you on this fantabulous journey for last more than 10, 12 years that you have been playing. Any last parting thoughts that you want to share? Probably as I always do that in my show, is to ask people any 2 points that you want all of these listeners to remember. It could be anything related to probably something that you have learned, something that you always wanted to tell. So this is the time. So I'll start with Savanan first, and then I'll go to Gayatri. Anything, Savanan?
Fine. Thanks for this interaction. Abhinav, it has been quite interesting. And what we thought might be a very structured interview happened to be a good, interesting conversation. So one thing I would like to tell is what I learned, which was against what I was told in my career in the last 15 years. Okay, it always pays to trust. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but still you continue to trust. Tweak how you trust. Whom you trust and how do you do the trust. Be it with customers, be it even with vendors, and be it with employees and associates. It is good. It is worth definitely people give or take, and try new things. There's nothing wrong in failing, right? As long as you don't make the same mistake again, go do something different. Learn and be happy with it.
Great, great. I think that's a fantastic thought. And again, COVID has taught us a lot of these things, that not everything will succeed. What do you think? People were building empires on those things which no more are required by the world. So, of course, trust and making sure that we continue to succeed and continue to fail and learn. Gayatri, what do you have to say?
If I have to say just one thing to the audience, Abhinav, it's positive mindset. If we have the
Fantastic.
positive mindset, the right attitude is going to help not only us, but our family, the society, our friends, and near ones. It's the positive mindset. As you rightly said, we have all endured this pandemic, right? It was a very tough, challenging period for all of us, not only with our career, with our personal side also. So the positive mindset is what has helped us, through this pandemic. And if we need to have a happy life, a healthy life, that is what is crucial to all of us. And
No, I
that's
think
what
that
we keep preaching within Idea Strategy also, that everyone should have the positive mindset. Um, Abhinav.
No, absolutely. I think that makes total sense. I just want to highlight when we started Alive Almond Show, one of the, my initial invited guests were Mr. Anil Agrawal. He's the ex-president of Havels, India. And he told me one thing, and which I always remember. And he said that, Abhinav, it's not how we start, it's how we end, right? And that's very important, right? Some people started their journey with only a few dollars. Some people started with millions of dollars, right? Some people started with no spoon. Some people started with a silver spoon. How it ends is very important, but this is a journey that we all have to be part of it. I would like to thank both of you, Gayathri, for your time, Savanan, for your insights, and of course we were interacting even before we came on the show. So it was amazing to hear both of you. But before we close the show, I also want to thank our partners. So Gayathri, you might not know, but Savanan and I, we have spoken because this show is completely not for profit. We have a lot of partners who just join for promoting these great thoughts that from the leaders like yourself come. I want to thank Institute of Technology and Management Gwalior, which has been a partner from the day one, with Institute of Technology and Management University Gwalior, with lakhs of students and alumni who always see the show live or after this. And I also want to, because you talked about you have been hiring talents from tier two cities and all, ITM would be more than happy to speak to you and collaborate on these fronts. So I'll connect you with their placement cell as well. PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industries, they have been an industry partner for the show from the day one. And just with one email which I sent to their secretary, they have been extremely supportive. They constantly promote our efforts, and they also reach out to various members of the community, around 8,000 plus or 10,000 plus members with millions of employees. So they also help us do that. Our gaming partner is Go Games, which is India's one of the finest cloud gaming as a service platform. Of course, 60% of our audience is youth, and I want to make sure that they play good games and not just the games. So thank you, Go Games. The Virtual Crunch, a Silicon Valley publication, which is our knowledge partner, for their help and also for promoting the efforts. And our entrepreneurship partner for the first time ever, Abhay Ventures. And thank you, Mr. Chatterjee, for connecting the dots and making sure that we all are able to meet. We are part of Abhay Techno Services Group. So A Technos, Apu Modi, and all the founders and managing directors of the company, thank you so much for your help. And finally, the team Almond, activating the last mile on digital. Thank you so much for the platform. Thank you for all the coordination, Alicia and everyone who was part of this entire team, Palak, Kunal, Anuraj, Shreya, all of these people, thank you so much for your time. And with that, Gayatri and Savanan, it was so good talking to you. And I'm sure that the kind of feedback that we are getting, the tweets and messages that we are getting, we might need to do, once more of something like this, and make sure that I get your calendar blocked for it. So thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to connect with you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Nice talking to you. Nice talking to you guys.
Great, great.